Today I'll be talking to opposition leader Jeremy Hasbin.
70% of Labour supporters intended to vote Remain. I didn't want to alienate the 30% in case they deserted us in a general election. John McDonnell did the maths. He went to grammar school, you know. And we know the figures are correct because Diane Abbott checked them.
After saying you were not a big fan of the EU, that 70% shrank to 60% a fortnight before the referendum. Alan Johnson, the leader of Stronger In, who had been a previous Home Secretary under Blair and Brown, said your efforts were a ludicrous farce.
We had other things to consider other than Brexit, like getting myself in number 10 at the next general election.
Your best people resigned in disgust at your performance, including 23 of your shadow cabinet.
Yes, but now we're playing our second 23, a much better team.
I see, so our World Cup strategy should be to play the B team. Boris, if you're still there, how would you sum up the EU?
I think they're just a bunch of left-wing loonies and socialist banker bashers. Can't wait to leave.
Jeremy?
It's a capitalist club of right-wing businesses exploiting the working class.
75% of 18 to 24-year-olds voted Remain. They cheered you at Glastonbury, but if they ever realised what you did, they might boo you off next time.
I'm confident momentum will keep them on message.
After the referendum, you received a vote of no confidence from your MPs by 197 to 40. Then, in the following general election, Momentum sent 400,000 ads on WhatsApp on election day, plus they used Facebook, Snapchat and Twitter. If you'd done that for the referendum, just a 1% swing would have given Remain victory.
The £350 million a week we send to the EU, which we will no longer send to the EU, can you guarantee that's going to go to the NHS?
No, I can't, and I would never have made that claim.
17 million people have voted for Leave.
Yep.
I don't know how many people voted on the basis of that advert, but that was a huge part of the propaganda. You're now saying that's a mistake.
That slogan on the bus wasn't my idea. It was thought up by Leave's Machiavellian mastermind, Dominic Cummings, and endorsed, of course, by Boris.
And it's not £350 million a week, it's actually £150 million after rebates. The NHS money will come from taxation, which will be painful, as we were top of the EU League for growth on referendum day. But now we are at the bottom.
Vote Leave said I was toxic. They even got 2 Conservative MPs to join UKIP to appear to detoxify the brand.
Theresa Mayhem is implying that there's a Brexit dividend that will help the NHS. This graph shows what we pay to the EU compared to the NHS. We pay over 14 times more into the NHS than to the EU. She and Boris would like voters to believe it's the other way round.
The NHS is in trouble due to too many immigrants.
They include doctors, nurses and other taxpayers.
Oh, the billions of pounds we spend on renewables, they should be spent on fracking.
The Bank of England have said so far Brexit has cost us 2% of GDP, which is £40 billion, due to the weak pound and business uncertainty. And now we have to pay another £40 billion as a divorce bill.
Boris says we can have our cake and eat it.
You want to take back control of our laws, so which laws do you want to scrap?
Well, climate change directives.
China is taking a different view based on the economic evidence and a desire for a better world for the next generation.
Wind turbines are unnecessary, Nigel.
They
Farage.
are a disaster. I was so pleased to see one blew down in that hurricane-force wind in Devon last week. I hope the whole lot blow down. I absolutely hate the things. They are ghastly. One of the biggest follies I've seen in my life.
The government changed its plan for renewable energy.
Is there a giant push towards solar and wind here? Is that the next step?
China's got some of the biggest wind and solar companies in the world now. Even though China has some of the largest challenges, like huge population, China's going to prioritize wind and solar rather than coal. But if China can do it, then I think the rest of the world can.